Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Legal Corner. So, in today's episode, I wanted to look at a recent article. So, let me just share my screen. Okay. So, this article is about Elsie and her daughter. So, Elsie bought a property completely unseen from a wholesaler. So, this means she did not go through a realtor and she did not visit the property. So, this should automatically raise some red flags. So, anyways, she closes on the property, and when she closes and she tries to move in, she realizes that there's a current tenant living at the property, and this tenant is refusing to leave. So she files a notice of termination and an application with the landlord tenant board. But I'm sure you guys know the landlord tenant board is currently extremely backlogged, so they haven't scheduled her a hearing yet. And to make things worse, Elsie is a financial advisor. And as part of her job, she's required to maintain a certain credit score. And if that credit score goes below whatever that amount is, then she will be fired from her position. So after she closes on this property, obviously she has to start paying the mortgage payments. So she's paying the mortgage payments while also paying the rent for the place that she's currently at. And the tenant that she is trying to evict is not paying her the rent, right? So she's got a lot of financial obligations now. She has to pay for two properties. So because of this, she's taken out a lot of debt and using her credit cards more. And because of that, her credit score is now a lot lower. And she unfortunately has lost her job because of this. As you can see, this is a really bad situation for her to be in. And in my opinion, I believe this has happened for three reasons, because of three reasons. The first and obvious one, and they talk about it in the article, is that the fact that the LTB or the landlord tenant board is so backlogged right now. It's so backlogged that they can't schedule her or really just anybody in for a hearing. And while she waits for this hearing, she has no way of evicting this tenant. So some people might know this already, but it's really hard to evict a tenant. As a landlord, you need to first, one, give the tenant a proper notice of termination. Two, then you need to apply for an order of eviction through the landlord tenant board. The landlord tenant board then schedules you a hearing. You have to wait for that. So usually that will be, they're supposed to be quick, like within a month, but right now you're looking up to 8 months to a year. So yeah, you're waiting for this hearing. Finally, you get the hearing date. You go to the hearing, you present your case to the LTB, and if the LTB sides with you, then they'll give you an order for eviction. But that's not it. You have to take that order of eviction and then you bring it to the court enforcement office of the Superior Court of Justice, also known as the Sheriff's Office. You pay a fee to this office to enforce that order, and then wait for the sheriff to enforce that eviction. So, no, the landlord cannot be the one to actually do the eviction. So, a lot of times people don't realize this. Just because you have the order of eviction doesn't mean that you as a landlord can go to the property, change the locks. You cannot legally, you cannot do this. The only person that can forcefully evict somebody out is the sheriff. So the sheriff enforces the eviction. So as you can see, this is a really lengthy and costly process. And with the backlog from COVID, the wait, like I said before, it's 8 months up to a year, possibly even more to get that hearing date. So during that whole time, your tenant could not be paying you and you're just kind of sitting around waiting. The second and third reason why I think this has happened is because Elsie did not have proper representation. So this case really showcases you how important and vital it is to have a proper realtor and a proper lawyer representing you in the purchase of a property. If she had had a competent realtor, so like I said before, she bought this property through a wholesaler, so it's like a private sale. She didn't go to the property, so she bought it completely unseen. So she didn't have a proper realtor representing her, right? So if she had a realtor, like a competent one, the realtor would have known that this place had a tenant and knowing this, they would have made sure that the agreement of purchase and sale reflected this, and they would have had the proper provisions within that agreement of purchase and sale to make sure that on the day of closing, this tenant is going to be out. And if not, then the property's not going to close, right? Same thing with having a proper lawyer. If she had a proper lawyer who picked up on this within the APS, this would have never have happened. So I guess to end this episode on a happier note, I did read that the Ontario government has allocated $19 million towards the Landlord Tenant Board in order to help with this whole backlog issue. So this $19 million is going to be given out within 3 years, with the majority of that money used to get more staffing. So hopefully this will resolve a lot of the issues that we're seeing now. So I'm getting a lot of calls from people who are having landlord tenant issues. So yeah, so hopefully this will resolve a lot of that. And yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.